Boom. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. We got some terrain to do. Continue doing. Night is falling. And distraction comes from an openness to busyness. Distraction comes from an openness to busyness. That's my mic you're hearing, possibly, because I'm trying to get a better position for it. Okay, I'm gonna grab the resources I need to do just a little bit more terraforming, which is these two bundles. And we need to explain that thing just a little bit, maybe, right? An openness to distraction is what creates the distraction in the first place. Because if you're not open, then it can't enter. And if it can't enter, you don't have to deal with it. That sound fair? I know it's fair because it is. I've actually lived this shit myself as well. Because if you're just not open to distraction, then you can't really get distracted. You get me? This is kind of a part 2 on the last video. So if you haven't watched that one yet, you should probably watch it. I'll maybe put a link in the description, probably, after the link to my main channel, which is where you can actually see the progress that I'm building for this world, like officially, I guess. Anyway, plugs out of the way. What was I talking about? Holy shit, this is terrible. My bad, bro. My bad. I don't know if I should be doing this shit, but I kind of want to, so I'm gonna do it anyway. Distraction. Oh yeah, the part 2. The part 2 part is specifically because I was thinking, a lot of people, so building on what we said in the last episode, fucking, it's not even a series thing, but what I said in the last video, it's people, they spend a lot of time like on their phones and things, and it's not good for brain, it's not good for health, it's not good for social or psychological health for that matter. It's actually very bad for a lot of parts, and for a lot of people, I think one of the main problems is that they have like notifications and things turned on so that they get notified when they get a message. Like, you can be off of most platforms, but if you're still spending 2 hours a day chatting with the boys on a WhatsApp channel because nobody has a life, then you're not gonna really be able to build a life. You get me? I'm not saying it's a bad thing, having a social life and having uh, people and friends to talk to is not a bad thing. Actually, a very good thing, because if you don't have that, well, there goes your life as well. What the hell are you doing? And I am getting distracted myself right here, which is actually another part, kind of a hypocrisy, but at the same time also a visualization of exactly what I'm talking about. And that is that if you do like get into the situations where you want to do something, where you actually want to build something or just work on something or whatever the hell you want to do, then it's just better to be focused on that one task than to do it while doing something else, or to do it while you're I heard a zombie, doing multiple things, or leaving yourself open to doing multiple things, like for example having the notifications while you're working, or having actually don't know what other options there really are. There are probably a lot of ways you can get distracted from the work you're supposed to do by just leaving yourself open to notifications and those kinds of things. And it's not, it's a bad thing if you want to get something done. It's not a bad thing if like you need to talk with people. Like in some situations, you actually have to have the openness, because if you don't have the openness, then just ain't nothing gonna happen. And well, we like that situation a lot, don't we? When we get into a situation where we realize nothing's happening. Hold on, where the hell am I placing this dirt? On that level. What the heck is happening over here? Okay, well then we're gonna just place it right there. I do not know what I'm doing here. Does it, do you see that? What? Oh, hold on, seriously. I think I completely missed doing an entire layer on the side. Because we're supposed to have this layer of dirt here, which I have over here, but not there. What have I done? Oh, son, what have I done? So those are other things that could also lead to distraction. Why does it matter to not be distracted? I don't know. Ask yourself. You know what you're doing with your life. I don't. You clicked on this video, right? If you need something to not be distracted for, then do what you can to not be distracted. Seems pretty obvious to me. Did I seriously forget to fill in this entire thing with cobblestone? Hold on. I think I'm actually schizoing the fuck out. Oh man. Oh man. Okay. I think I made my point clear though, if I'm gonna be honest. So this is a very short one, but generally speaking, if you don't want to be distracted, if you don't want to have trouble with people, if you don't want to have trouble with work, if you don't want to have trouble doing things, or if you just don't want to have trouble with most things in life, then just don't allow yourself to be open to new things. And we can also take this spiritually, because if you leave yourself open to demonic attacks, as we can say in Christianity and probably other religions as well, but I don't care because they're not real. Haha, I'm sorry, but I'm not. Either way, when you have those like psychological or spiritual attacks that will eventually lead with you or end up with you doing something you don't like doing, that hurts you when you do it, that like those kinds of things, that is way too much cobblestone. I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted myself again, which is the point of the video. When you get all those things like happening and all of that is just like a little there. If you leave yourself open to the attacks, you will also fail in protecting yourself, which is why Paul, for example, says in, I don't know exactly which letter to which ecclesia, but to one of the churches. It might be Romans, it might be Corinth. I really don't know. I think it is Romans where he says to run away, or it's Timothy. I think it might be Timothy where he says it's better to run away from, in the specific case, I think it was women, and generally speaking, throughout also all the Old Testament, that's also one of the things that is not exactly common, but like a red line, that you just don't want to get distracted, and that it is best to run away. It's best to run away and not do dumb things like that. Like me placing water and not blocking it off. But it's fine, it's just a little bit of cobblestone, so. Boom. Am I stretching out this video? Maybe I am. I want to talk while I'm doing something here, because it's boring to just do nothing. Or, well, place blocks in the same way for hours and hours. Like, I'm not kidding, I've already spent, what, 60 hours on just this side, and then now I've also started doing that side, which is also taking not a short amount of time. And being distracted is definitely not helpful for me or for anyone, and with whatever the heck they need to get done. I do want to point out also more of the spiritual part about it, like the following in Christ, because if you leave yourself open, if you leave yourself open to distraction, that also means that you close yourself off for the Word of God, which sounds pretty harsh because it actually really is. Like, just think about that for a second, right? Well, I'm gonna turn off my night vision. If you leave yourself open to hear the words and the deceptions of the other side, and you go in with that pattern, I guess, you're gonna end up leaving. Even if it's just for a minute, even if it's just for a second, even if it's an hour or a day or a week, you're still leaving God and Jesus to do what? The things you don't like doing, the things you ran away from. And this is me talking to myself completely, okay? Don't say, "Oh yeah, but you're just some idiot. You have never experienced this shit." Of course I fucking have. We all have. And I can say that with certainty. So, and if you have not, then be happy that you're so blessed. But we don't have to be perfect, but we can try, right? We will fail, and that's fine. Failing is how you get better. We literally can't be perfect, but because we can try, it is also apostasy to not try. Like, it is much worse to leave yourself open than to fail. Because if you leave yourself open, then failure is not just you can't even call it failure at that point. If you fail when you leave yourself open to distraction, that is legitimately just the consequences of your action. Like, that's reaping what you sow. That's not failure. That is deliberate response to your actions. And that is also quite a harsh truth. So, damn, bro, it really only gets harder and harder and harder. So, I mean, I don't really have many more things I could say. I probably could if I spent enough time actually thinking about it and like writing a whole fucking page about what the hell I'm talking about. But I know you get what I mean. I know you see what I'm saying, because I'm certainly not the only one to have lived this life. Hell, I've learned most of these things from other people, because well, learning from others is one of the best ways to, or one of the only ways to actually find wisdom for yourself too. And that means that for you, as a man, as a woman, as a Christian, as a non-believer, you can't leave yourself open to distraction of whatever, because the more you allow distraction, the more bad things will happen, the more you will deteriorate, the more you will decay, the more you will hurt, the more everything will just be terrible, bro. So close the gates, close the windows, close the window to your soul, and only let in what you want to let in. And it's gonna be pretty hard. And if you have to take the first step to like actually do that, it's gonna be even worse. Because I mean, obviously, if it's the first step, then you have to let go of everything. And letting go of everything takes a little while. So again, failure is not the problem. This is honestly, if there's one thing you want to take away from all of this, it's not that you like, okay, failure is not the problem. Failure is not the problem. Man was made to stand back up. You know, you might have heard the analogy of the angels, demons, and humans, where it is said that the angels were never meant to fall, the demons were meant to fall but never get back up, and the humans were meant to fall but get back up every single time. And we can only really see that in ourselves by also actually doing it. So failure is not the problem, Sonny. Failure is not the problem. The problem is whether you choose to get back up or to stay down. You don't win the match by staying down. And yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. You know the message. You've heard it before. I know you've heard it before. This is definitely not the first time that you're hearing it. And if it is, you know what to do either way. Don't stay open. Don't stay open to whatever the hell might be the problem. It does not matter what is the problem. You just don't want to stay down. And with that final note, I'm going to ask you to like the video if this did help, if you did maybe realize something out of this, or if you felt it was motivational, or if you think somebody else needs to hear this, then I guess send it over to them. If you want to ridicule me in the comments, please do. I genuinely don't care. It'd be kind of funny actually, so thank you for the kind words regardless. And yeah, I'm not going to bore you any further. If you like to see these kinds of things, also hit the subscribe button so that you can see the next video, which might actually be pretty soon, but we'll see. Thank you. And now to click the recording button.